What's up, y'all? It's your favorite music teacher, Brian, with Best Lesson Ever. Good to see you. Hope you have your guitar with you. You've practiced tuning it up. Let's get down on this thing and play your very first chord. Now me, I don't like to dilly-dally at all on guitar. I like to jump into playing our first chord, and it is a G chord. Let's figure out where to put our fingers. First, we'll put our middle finger on the low E on the 3rd fret. Then our index finger will go on the A string on the 2nd fret. The next 2 strings are open. And then we put our ring finger on the 3rd fret of that second to last string, the B string. And our pinky goes on the 3rd fret of the very last string, the high E. Nice. The full chord should sound like this. Now, yours might not sound that way. Why? Well, there are 2 main reasons why our chords don't sound nice and clean. The first is we're not pressing down hard enough. Guitar is a hard instrument to learn. You're going to develop new muscles in your left hand. Feel free to press down super hard and figure out how hard it is you need to make the sound. That's not hard enough. Nice. It's ringing out now. I don't need to press any harder. So if your chords are sounding good, you don't need to press so hard on your left hand. We do need to press hard enough to make it sound good. Nice. Another reason why your chord is not sounding out is because there's a finger in the way. Your hands are learning how to make new shapes. You're getting new muscles, and oftentimes you'll play a chord that sounds like this. Right? So this second string here can't ring out because my middle finger is in the way. So I have to get a bigger arch on that finger so that both notes can sound. Nice. As you're playing, you'll want to be playing with the tips of your fingers. Since this is the first time you're playing chords, you can probably only play 5 to 10 minutes before it gets kind of painful. Take a break. That's when it's time to take a break. Guitar is so much fun playing at 5-minute intervals like 3 times a day. And much easier to maintain rather than sitting for 15 minutes in pain. Please don't play through pain. Just kind of give it up and come back later when your hand is feeling better. Let's get back to our G chord right here. Middle finger on the low E string, 3rd fret. Index finger on the 2nd. Ring finger on the 2nd to last string, 3rd fret. And our pinky on the last fret. Just like this. There should be some tablature and chord charts attached so you know exactly what string to put on. But memorizing this shape is really the first step here. Let's play that G chord again. Now, if your hands are a little small to play that G chord, you don't have to play with your ring finger and pinky. You can just play 2 fingers and play it like this. And that's totally fine for right now. Okay, great. Say you tried to play your G chord and you played it perfectly the first time. Fantastic. Why don't we learn to play a C chord? I want you to take your top 2 fingers, your middle finger and your index, and move it down 1 string. And there we have a C chord. Congratulations, you know 2 chords on the guitar right now. All you need is 2 chords to make a song. Here's my G, it's my home. Here's the C, we're moving strong. Back to G, that's where I'm gonna stay. Okay, anyway, why don't we learn one more chord? We're gonna learn the D. Okay, a D starts with that open D. Remember, Eddie, 8, dynamite. Starts with that open D right there. You won't play the 2 low strings when you play a D chord. Starts with the open D. Your first finger plays on the G string, the 2nd fret. Nice. Ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B. And middle finger on that very last string, the F sharp. And a D chord sounds like this. It's not always easy to play. Take your time with it. Make sure those notes are ringing out and sounding clean. If you start to get a bit of... make sure you're pressing hard on it. Now, when we practice our chords, we want to play the whole chord. And then we want to play 1 string at a time. This is where we really want to focus on. Is the string ringing out? Am I making enough pressure with my left hand? Is there a finger in the way where it's not? So, strum it once, play each string individually. That's how we know that it's real. We've got our G chord. We got a C chord. We just learned how to play a D chord, and there's one more left, this E minor, and it looks like this. Open E. First finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. Middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. And the rest of them are open. The E minor is just a 2-finger chord. It sounds like this. Okay, great. There's going to be some chord charts attached so you can check this out. Now we have 4 chords, and the next trick is to play these chords in an order. We're going to play them G, D, and C. Let's try that again, starting on G. G. Now here's the trick, moving from G to D, we want to see what fingers can we leave on the guitar, which ones do we need to switch? Well, looking at it now, I see that my ring finger doesn't even have to move, so that's going to be our anchor. Going from G to D, we leave our ring finger there, and our middle finger goes from the very bottom note to the very top, all the way. Then we make our D shape. At first, you can practice just going back and forth between G and D, and G and D, and G. Once you get that feeling good to the D, we're going to take that D all the way to the E minor. These chords don't share any notes, so we're going to have to move our first finger up here, middle finger beneath it. There's our E minor. So let's try that from D to E minor, back to D to E minor. I'm going fast now. Take your time. Your hands are just getting used to this. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just let it happen slowly. Nice. D to E minor. That looks good. Now let's switch it up to play our last chord, the C major. Our middle finger here goes to the 3rd fret on A, index finger, our last two on the bottom, just like a G chord. Here we're playing a C. One thing to note on a C major is we do not play that low string. This chord starts on a C, on the 2nd string A, and that's where we start our chord, C. So when you get to it, I want you to play these to a metronome, and it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. E minor, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, back to G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4, and C, 2, 3, 4, and rest. Congratulations, you just learned your first 4 chords on guitar. You can actually play a million songs using these 4 chords and a capo. We'll talk about that in a later episode. Get these chords under your fingers. That's the important part here. Don't worry about playing in time until you can play these chords with some muscle memory, and then we'll slowly move to putting it to a strum. See y'all next time.